5 years of all. Let's not give up. No, they will not kill all of us. In fact, we are already depressed. We are already depressed. We are already dead. They are dealing with the generation that is already dead. Kitu imebaki tu ni kufunga macho. It's only the eyes which are not closed. But we are depressed. Some of us even don't know how we are going to pay our rents. Some of us don't know even what is going to happen in the next meal we are going to have. And here the government is there telling us we pay tax. All they sit there is telling us to pay tax. Are we there? We are like, we are. Why is it these strikes are on a weekday? And on the street, you find more than 1.5 million youth are on the street on a weekday. They have not gone to work. In fact, he should reason on that perspective. He should know that, things are not easy. People say they have no job, people have no meal, people have nothing to do. In fact, we can strike from Monday to Monday with nothing to do. Some of us, we even depend on betting sites to survive. We will just strike because you apply for job, you don't give us. We apply for jobs, you give us your own daughters. Now, Charlene Ruto has 2 jobs in the government right now. She is the ambassador of blood donor ama blood bank. Now she was also nominated. She was also nominated in the Ministry of Health. So we wonder, don't we have other people in the country who can do the same work? We have people here who are learned. We have people here who can handle those things. Is it a must for you to do things on a matter of nepotism? We have seen Murkomen appointing Duale's brother in the Ministry of Road and Transport. Railways. He's the chairman of Kenya Railways Board. Duale's own brother is the chairman of Kenya Railways, and the same Duale's brother. Before in the Uhuru's government, he was under Kenya Water Board Association or something. So are they recycling the same thing? When are we going to get new leaders, new people who can think for the citizen, people who know what the citizen wants, people who listen to the citizen? Ruto is just recycling people, recycling people. Since I was born, Mudavadi has been in the government. He is doing totally nothing, nothing. Even his own MCA, is not from ANC party. His own MCA is from ODM. This can literally tell you that Mudavadi is also a failure in one or another. Because if he cannot get his own MCA from his own party, why is he there to lead us, to tell us he's a leader? They are just millionaires who are just recycling themselves. When are we going to get new blood, new, fresh, young, energetic people in these ministries to lead? When are we going to have it? Some MPs have gone for 3 terms, for 2 terms. When they come for the fourth or third term, the next time they come for election, they fail. They are now being nominated to ambassador jobs. They now get nominated to. So this person has served as as an MP, and he was not voted in. This means that his people, his constituents, his people in the constituency did not believe in him, the people who should have voted him in, so that this person is not ready to be a leader for us. This should be a clear message even to the president himself. But the president takes the same MP or the same person who failed as a governor or as a senator. Now he gives him a CS job, a CAS job, an ambassador job. Why are we recycling failures in the government? Why? Why are we recycling failures? Well, we have people outside there who can do it. We have people here who can do better. We have people here who can organize something and it works without even the government. Why don't you look at those people? Why don't you just Ruto right now is forming a committee. Okay, he is forming that committee for 6 days to do what? To discuss what? To tell him how to work. And yet he's all what he's supposed to work is in the constitution. He has to. Must he form a committee for that 7 days? All we are asking is young people, just simple. You know what, Mr. President? Your people, the people you have chosen in your cabinet secretaries, they are so corrupt. Kindly do not even reshuffle. What we want, tell these people to go back home so that we can get new people who are ready to serve. And once we let these people go home, let them tell us how did they get their wealth. Because it's so sad you're coming here bragging to a poor person how you are in the government and you have money, forgetting this poor person who is oppressed is the one who gave you that vote. This poor person is the one who has the power to give you that position where you are. Mr. President should just listen to us. It's very simple. Fire all those CAS, fire all those cabinet secretaries. They are doing nothing. Ababu Namwamba just gave us the people who went to Paris Olympic. You saw their uniform. It was just like they're going for In our language, we say huminya. Huminya is whereby you take these young boys, they go there out there, we sing for them during circumcision. They wear those kind of clothes. It was kind of embarrassing for the government. We trended here on Twitter. Even our brothers from Nigeria, they really mocked us because of the uniform. Coming to terms with it, the person who was given the tender to supply those uniform is a daughter to a certain celebrity in Kenya. And the government is just rot. Is a daughter, in fact, let me say this is a daughter to the so-called Madam Boss who was given the tender to supply those uniform. Why are they recycling those things and giving us things which are not making sense? They're even making our country to look desperate, as if we have clueless leaders in that thing. He went to people to Paris Olympic. We have just told him, Ababu na Mwamba, you know what? One thing we want, give us the list of the people who accompanied you and tell us their role in that journey, because they are using our money as taxpayers' money for their accommodation in these hotels, what they are going to eat, for the movement. Give us the list. And we saw Kwamboka through some advocates that have issued him the letter. Give us the list, make it public. Why are you making it private? This money is public fund. It comes from the taxes. Give us the list. Tell us I took this person to Paris, to France, because he was doing this. This, because Ababuna Mwamba is somebody, he has been taking their ladies just because of the interest of his third leg, which is very bad. Those are not leaders. And those are the people who is failing this President Ruto. Even Ruto himself is a failure. In one or another, he's a failure. And he has to agree with it. Because it is not good. It is not good to be giving people hope, and you yourself, you're the same person who is oppressing these people. Why are you giving it? The churches have failed us right now. Until we came up and we said, you know what, let's make the altar a place of God. That's when the churches listened. Before, a church was like a political center. A politician comes there to preach his manifesto, to give out money for him to be
Mastermind,
accepted.
wind up, please.
As I wind up, it's just very simple. And I'll say this: as the young generation of this nation, we have no leader. As the young generation of this nation, first of all, the president should know we are already depressed. Even if you want to kill all of us, it's much better, because at one point or another, we are even surviving. We are not living. We are surviving. Our parents depend on us back at home. We have nothing to give them. They have given us education. We feel like even we have failed them. There's nothing we're giving them. Help is on our neck. We need to pay it. We don't know where to get the money. So keep on recycling your own people, Mr. President. But just know the time will come and the youth of this nation will be united. And no person will be a sellout in the revolution. It's not because they want to overthrow your government. No, we are just telling you, do the right thing, Mr. President. Nobody's interested to overthrow your government. Do the right thing. Fire those CS. Let them go. Don't compromise them. Thank you, Mr. Philip. Thank you, Mr. Gadongo, for this opportunity to give me on this space. I hope you're together in this, but one day I know it might be long, but we will enjoy our freedom. We will reclaim our country back. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mastermind Omwami. You have spoken so well. You've said so many things, and I know everyone on this forum is listening, and they will be able to talk about it. I've seen Mr. Simba Hashim has been raising his hand for the past 20 minutes. Please, let's be prudent with time so that we can have as many people contributing to this particular topic. Thank you. Hashim.
Thank you very much, Philip. I will not take much of your time. Greetings to all of you from Afghanistan, Kabul. I'm a Kenyan national. I work here with the United Nations. So mine will be very brief. I think we've been talking, everyone lamenting about lifestyle audit and stuff. The first question I ask is, what do we need? We have laws, we have, if you look at Kenya, right from the chief who gives probably relief food to the headmaster who embezzled school capitation grant, to MOH who steals drugs, to the area, MCA who will divert funds, to the governor, to the presidency, all the way, I think, to the police officer. Literally everybody in the country is corrupt. So if you want to hold a lifestyle audit for a traffic officer and buy a Majenga apartment somewhere, where do you start? That is one. Two, I know of cases. I will give an example. A chief officer was arrested by 69 million was found in his account. This chief officer for agriculture in Mandera, and then before he was arraigned in court, the guys from asset recovery, so they met him and they told him, okay, there's 69 million unaccounted for in his account. So he gave these guys 10 million and he went away with the 59 million. So the question is, who will watch over the watchmen? Because the EACC guys are corrupt. There was the guy who was in charge of EACC from Isiolo. I can't remember his name. He owns like 2-3 apartments in Isiolo, because once he knows he has a file of a governor who is corrupt, he will go to the governor, ask for money, and then he takes the money, and then the file in Alala too for like 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. And then there was a time Uhuru said they will conduct lifestyle audit. So they engaged NIS guys. I know some of the NIS guys. So the NIS guy is sent to audit a minister or a governor, like clandestine. So the NIS guy goes to the governor and anasema, I was sent to do, lifestyle audit, kichini chini. So the guy gives him 50 million to the NIS guy and off he goes. So the question is, we have laws, we have system, but what in Kenya, what we don't have is we don't have ethics, we don't have morals, we don't fear God. Literally, I don't know. Probably what we need is some divine intervention, because ukiona this is mali ya umma, and then you are stealing relief food, you steal capitation grant, you steal drugs, your hospitality, someone dies of diabetes or TB or whatever. I think I don't know. I don't know what we need, but laws and audits, and I don't know. It's frustrating. Thank you.
Well, sorry about that, my brother Shimba, Hashim. I know there's a lot of young people are going through a lot, and it's something that is being. I think when you go out there to speak out as the Gen Zs, you are raising concerns that the government is listening to, and everyone who cares to listen, all politicians are listening to your cries. Well, I think let's have. I think I've been. Who has been raising his hand? We have Victor. Victor. And Mr. Gadogo has excused himself a
Can I
little. He
speak?
wants to attend to other things before he comes back. Victor,
Yes.
you have the microphone.
Not me.
Okay. Am I audible? Hello? Am I audible?
Go on. We are hearing you.
Yes, sorry.
Yes, you are audible. Kindly go on.
Bernard, please
Okay. I'm
turn off your
not
microphone.
Gen Z.
Bernard,
Okay.
turn off your microphone. Bernard, turn off your
Okay.
microphone to
Okay.
allow Victor to speak. Then we'll give you time to speak after Victor.
Okay. I'm not Gen Z, but I believe what Gen Z has done is what maybe other generations could not have done. And I think, Mastermind, some people alluded to the fact that, you're not begging. You're asking for opportunities to make yourself to reach further heights. I think some people are born with a mentality that you are lucky to have food. You should be thankful you found it. So with that mentality, a majority would not question whatever they're getting is coming from. So as you're talking about corruption all through, I think Hashim was stating that it goes through all from the local chief up to the president. But then you have to realize that these people also have families, they have friends, and they don't question where the proceeds are coming from. So in an ideal situation, and I think it's I can call it the software method, is where everyone will have ethics and will not take proceeds from corruption, from crime. That is an ideal situation. And sadly, I believe, for me, I always feel like colonization is part of the problem, whereby we felt as if we are in a hole, and the first person to get out has to stay out. And it connects very well with this thing of trying to create dynasties, because it's fortification. Because once you know you have done wrong, you need to protect yourself. Because once you retire or once you are out of power, you need somebody else who will protect your interests. So I think it goes back to that issue that hiring on merit no longer works in Kenya, because everyone is trying to protect their interests, be it the police, judges, whatnot. But I'm here also to give a different perspective in that there's another hardware way, and I think Gen Z, you are blessed that you're born in a world where there is other means, having this digital means. Kitambo, for you to get news of what is happening in Nairobi will take ages. The information will be distorted. So I think even when you're talking about lifestyle audit, at the moment it's hot here, but somebody said there are already enough laws to ensure there's an audit. In fact, just the other day, KRA was saying they'll be doing it. I'm trying to give you an understanding. Remember, like the mafia in the US, they were more afraid of the tax officers than anyone else because their systems are working. The federal agents had a security of tenure, and bureaucrats had the authority. I'll give you just an example. So these mafias, they could not enjoy whatever money they had. They had to maybe open a hair salon to show that they are making money, or a car wash. So I mean, there's one way to stop the leakage. Another way is to prevent them from enjoying their wealth. And I'm really saddened that our banking system and KRA are not working. Because I mean, if everybody stole, but all they could do is just drink their money, they'll stop stealing. But if you can buy a piece of land, buy assets with proceeds of crime, and nobody questions where this funding is coming from, then before the lifestyle audit, we already messed up. So if KRA, the central bank, who has oversight authority over the bank, and the judiciary system, including the prosecutors, did their work, we'll not be talking about audit. And that's the hard way. And if, just like an example, when we move to payments from cash to M-Pesa, we always realize it gets better. Things get better because there's traceability. So I'm thinking Gen Z can take advantage of this digital age. And as we move to a more transparent platform, because your colleagues will be working in all these industries. The older generation don't know not about, programs and whatnot. So I think the emphasis is to create such a network whereby, even there's something you can't buy. Knowledge is something you cannot buy. Merit, you can get all the money you want, but brains don't come easy. So if you can utilize that, and that's just we have witnessed, like Murkomen's watch, whatever somebody wears, you could see that the prices were coming up. I don't think it's because that there's nothing else, but because you are in a digital age that you can quickly do that, disseminate information. So I believe at the moment, lifestyle audit is not, it's just hot air, but Gen Z should also take advantage of realizing that in this digital age, there are far more tools to utilize to point out the wrongs. And in your own capacities, I mean, let's just try to, it will take a while, but question whatever you're receiving, because if you are thinking that you have enough capacity to make a life for yourself, you don't need somebody to maybe, like throw at you tidbits. So that's my submission. So I think you are on the right path, and please keep it going. And I hope to see some changes in Kenya.
Well, thank you. I can see my co-host is back, Mr. Gadogo. Karibu, you're going to attend to something. Thank you, my brother Mike. You can now mute your microphone. Before I give the next speaker, I think it was, I want to clarify something. I stepped out a little when Mike was speaking to answer to a phone call from the Mheshimiwa, the Honorable Raila Odinga, the former Prime Minister, and Mastermind had accused him of sitting at the table with the people he says thieves. I don't know, he used so many words. Now he has told me today he went to KICC because the bill that was being signed was as a result of the talks that were held at the Bomas of Kenya, which was after the previous protests, the previous mandamanos that happened in the country, and a lot of lives were lost. So after NADCO talks, there was a report that recommended that we have the IBC selection panel in place as soon as possible so that we can have the IEBC commission in place so that we can have the by-elections that are pending held, because Mandera has not had a member of parliament. The Tarbaj constituency in Mandera County has not had a member of parliament for the last 1 year. Their member of parliament died in a road accident in April last year. Now, he says he went there because this was a result of the effort that Kenyans put in during last year's demonstrations. Number two, when he talked about dialogue, he says he was calling for dialogue because there have been calls by the Genzs that they need reforms in this country. So he says this is a holistic approach, not with the government, not with any other person, but all stakeholders, so that we can have meaningful engagement where we can have a good Kenya going forward. But he says he is fully behind what the Gen Zs are saying, what the Gen Zs are pushing. Now, let's have
Hello, kindly.
Dilaogue.
Not me.
Yes. Lucky.
Mr. Mr.
Yes.
Mr. Director, before the next speaker, kindly. Yes, I'm Solomon.
Solomon, yes, Solomon, you have the
Yes,
microphone.
yes, Mr. Director. I was wondering why you've taken too long to publish something on the justification of what the former premier did, because if you've actually read the mood, everyone is mad at the former premier. But I actually believe what you say, and I was supposed to consult you on the next move, because Kenyans were really waiting on the comprehensive statement or on the comprehensive justification of the premier's action. But I really want to trust you on what you've done, because you've actually cooled the mood right now. So even after this pace, I'm going to call you or to consult with you so that we see what to tell the people, because I was left in a very unwanting state on what to tell people. So thank you for clarification, and I'm going to consult you further after this one. Thank you so much, and let me let the next speaker have his submission. Thank you.
Okay. Can I have my back?
Thank you, Solomon. Thank you. Yes, please.
Okay, Phil. Good evening, everyone. I just want to say that I'm lucky, and maybe you know me as Mandela from Riruta Ward, Dagoretti South. I come from a constituency whereby the honorable member voted against the will of the people. Today, I'm here because I feel really disappointed by our political class, and more so my party leader, Honorable Raila Odinga, of which I'm a life member to ODM party 00872 That's my life membership number. So the reason why I want to speak about this matter is because there is a lot of reactions, and people are really mad at our party leader. You know, when we started these talks, it has been a long since independence. Tom Mboya was murdered. A commission was formed. That report still dusting, or is dusted in the shelves. Robert Huko was murdered. So many reports came out. Nobody bothered, and nothing was done. Like in our case, we have this report called Waki report. Waki report is there. Nobody is talking about the implementation of Waki report. We have Ndungu lands report or Ndungu report. Nobody is talking about Ndungu report. We have TGRC report, truth Justice and Reconciliation Commission report. Nobody's talking about that report. We had a report called BBI report. This BBI report, the current president fought this BBI report to the last sweat. And he said those people who are proposing BBI report, the proponents, were clueless, rudderless. They don't know nothing. They have no clue. So today, it is saddening that even if the Right Honorable Premier Raila Odinga went to sign the NADCO report based on IBC, Phil, this NADCO report, I remember we were almost getting killed in Kawangware. You were there and you were present when we were doing our demos. And so many people who are today against the regime were laughing at us. They thought that this regime will do much to them or development to them than us who are in opposition or who are being branded as criminals by them. So after NADCO report, it has taken the whole full year for the political class, for William Ruto to realize that it is high time for me to append my signature on this. Today, 1 year down the line, we had a finance bill 2023, of which he became an act, and actually, after becoming an act, people saw the fruits and have seen the fruits of that finance act 2023-2024. That's the reason why when this finance bill this year came into the limelight, so many people were like, no, we don't want to go to that situation. We thought that the previous or the last year's finance bill or finance act would cater for our needs, only to antagonize, only to get our pockets dry. So this time round, a whole year, full 1 year, since demos were done, we did demos last year, is when now William Ruto has just woken up and found that there is an NADCO report I have to present, I have to sign it today. Unajua ukweli tu tuseme na lugha ya mtaa, Ruto anatuchezea na anatupima akili. And anadhani kila siku sisi ni wajinga. So whatever Prime Minister went to ratify, nobody's questioning what he went to sign. No, we are questioning his remarks, saying that we should dialogue. How many dialogues should we have as a country? We've dialogued 1,000 times. Nothing is being implemented. This is the same Ruto who was ready to kill us. And he said that we were criminals. Last year, you were almost getting killed in that car. Majority of you, even G-Code, most of us were getting killed. I remember by that time last year when we were having demos. So what has changed? This is the same person who was even hunting Raila Odinga to kill him. So today, Ruto has become an angel. Tusicheze na hii pressure ya wananchi. Watu wamechoka. Manze watu wamechoka. Na vile tunaangalia, by the way, I've had so many conversations. Nimepitia hata mtaani. Watu wananiambia sasa baba anasema nini hizo? Anatuambia tu dialogue na umse, na umse ametufinya. Unajua vitu kama hizo ndio haribia Raila. Do you know the reason why last year during Uhuru's second term, Raila carried all the baggages of incumbency. Everything was thrown at him. Ruto distanced himself from the problems they created with Uhuru Kenyatta. They were the ones who signed the Eurobond. They're the ones who failed, who told children that you are going to get laptops. Hawa watoto walipromisiwa laptop, ndio saizi wako kwa barabara wanaitwa Genz. Wanapiga mayoyo, wanang'ang'ana, wanasema uongo. Ashafanya mtihani, ameingia form 1, wengine wao saizi wamekaa, waliambiwa watapata laptops wakiwa primary level. Leo hii tunataka kuambia ati kuna kitu imechange Kenya hiyo lovers.
Mandela, wind up.
So my parting shot, mi nataka kusema hivi, Phil, wewe najua uko karibu na baba, mwambie baba hivi, sahii muda itaki mambo ya dialogue. Tumechoka na madialogues, tumeona dialogues mingi sana. Ruto haezi sikia. Huyo ndio anaambiwaga, ama Waswahili wanasema sikio la kufa alisikii. So huyu jamaa amefika ile age, anaenda nyumbani. Nothing can save William Ruto. He should not use Raila Odinga to clean up his mess. He doesn't need a dialogue to fire Murkomen. He doesn't need a dialogue to fire Mythical Inturi. It doesn't need a dialogue to fire this incompetent CS for education, Ezekiel Machogu. It doesn't need a dialogue to fire all these clowns we see around. It doesn't need a dialogue to fire these parastatals heads who are minions. It doesn't need a dialogue to get this country into the right track. No, he only needs to act to use constitution. We want the rule of law. Atumie sheria, arekebishe makosa. Alituambia anajua kona zote za hii Kenya. Kwani imekuwa aje yeye sasa ndiye ako rudderless, ako clueless na ako useless? Asitudanganye bwana. Asante.
Thank you, Mr. Gadogo. Yeah.
Am I next?
Yes,
Okay,
I think
Bernard.
someone was
Bernard, you're
missing the
next.
hand. Nick. Yeah.
Okay, I think let's have Bernard first because he was here. He had lifted his hand. Then Nick.
Okay, no worries.
Nick. So yeah.
Yeah,
Then
good.
let's take 3 minutes each, please, because of
It's okay.
time.
It's okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bernard Omondi, but in the political circles, I'm known as Ben Serkal. And so, what is happening right now in our country is a very beautiful thing. I am very happy. I am a very happy person. I am so proud to be called a Kenyan right now, because everybody in the world is talking about the changes that is being brought by the young people in Kenya. But I want us not to forget that it is nothing new. It is the same thing that Raila Odinga, Orengo, Martha Karua, all these people, they did it at our age. We are doing the same things that they did those years ago. So this is a generational moment whereby we are also doing our part as citizens and patriotic citizens of the Republic of Kenya. Number two, people should not bash his eminence Raila Amolo Odinga, because Raila also has a responsibility as a citizen of Kenya. He's a party leader. He's trying to be the chairperson of African Union. He's trying to balance all these, trying to balance his party. He's trying to balance his personal interests and the interests of the members of his party. The same to the President of the Republic of Kenya. I want to say that William Ruto is a very lucky individual. He's a very lucky person because God has put him in a position whereby he has to fix problems that have been caused in this country for over 100 years. And let's look it in terms of, let's try to widen up, because most people are trying to be emotional. This is not the time to be emotional, because the moment you become emotional, you stop being rational. So let's be emotional, but let's rationalism really take charge. It is not William Ruto that has brought corruption in Kenya. Neither is it Raila Odinga, who is calling for dialogue for the first time in the Republic of Kenya. Kenyatta one decided to come with these dialogues. The barrel has been there all this time. But I think that this is our time in this generation to take the mantle from these people who have been struggling for us to take our country to the next level. Even as we take our country to the next level, William Ruto is not going to stop to be a Kenyan. Even if we kick him out of the presidency, he's still a Kenyan. Raila Amolo Odinga has its age. Even if he becomes the African Union chairman, he's still a Kenyan. So we must all understand that, number one, we are all Kenyans, and we must find a solution for all Kenyans. And I think the most important thing that we need to understand what politics really is. And then we need to understand that these politics, the systems that we use in this country, who brought them? These are not our systems. These are systems that are controlled by the neocolonialists. These are systems that were brought to us by the imperialists, the systems that were brought to us by capitalists. And today what happened is the owners of this country, and I've tried to do a lot of research about the owners of Kenya. Actually, Africans don't even own this country. The banks, the land, the currencies we use, the language we are using right now is not even our language. The education system was not even brought by us. So this thing is very deep. If you look at William Ruto is a very small player in this. He's a very small player. He's actually a very small player in this. So we need just to understand that we are all Kenyans and we must fix this country. And there's this cliche, this issue going on that Gen Z don't have leadership. It is high time we organize ourselves. Political movements is about organizing ourselves. If we are not organized, we are not going to move anywhere. These people are organized. You can see the political class is organized. The political class is Raila Odinga, William Ruto, that group that you saw today on television. That is called the political class. They are very organized. And democracy is about an organized minority controlling a disorganized majority. So if we continue to be disorganized the way we are disorganized, saying, oh, we don't have leaders, it means then we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust any one of us to be the first amongst the equals. And these people are organized.
Thank you.
They have the resources. They have their systems.
Bernard, wind up.
Yes, so my point is, we want to ask, as we talk about lifestyle audits, what I want to push for is audit of political parties. And Mr. Philip Etale, I know you're a very key person of ODM. We need to disband all these political parties, because I see so many criminals in those political parties being given party tickets to run with party tickets. All conmen in that ODM, all wash people in that all the other political parties. It's all conmen, criminals. We cannot trust the leadership of those parties. And it is high time that you clean the political parties. Even as we go for the lifestyle audits, you have so many corrupt people who that your party sponsored into parliament. People who have cases who should not even be leaders anywhere, but your party sponsors those criminals to be the leaders. Others are people who go to parliament and they make wrong laws because they go there for their own selfish interest and to protect the criminalities elements. So even as we go for the lifestyle audit, we want ODM as a party to be audited with the leaders that they have. The group, I'm so embarrassed by the kind of human beings that ODM sponsors into National Assembly. It is a big embarrassment. So tell Mr. Raila Odinga, as we go for the whatever dialogue he's talking about, let's audit the parties. The parties after a church, the parties as the biggest letdown in this country. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bernard. Thank you for your words of wisdom. I think let's have the voice of a lady, Alice Mwango. You have the floor, Alice. Now let's stick to 3 minutes because we got up to 16:30 hours to end the show, and I'd like to give now, yeah, have it.
Good
Alice.
evening. Are you getting me?
Yes, you're on. We can hear you.
Okay. So mine is, first of all, lifestyle audit is a big scam because most of our leaders have invested outside our country. In the case of Sakaja, there are allegations that he is stealing money and going to buy houses in South Africa, buy houses in Dubai, or even invest in UK or even America. So even if we do a lifestyle audit, we won't come up with clear circumstances where they have taken our money after practicing corruption. So it's a big scam. We need to think of something else that we can audit to get clearly how this money was lost. Number two, from the photos I saw today, I didn't see the youth in that conference or something where the president was signing the IBC bill. I didn't see women. And are women and the youth minority in Kenya? Are we lesser people in the society? So from that, we should push the agenda of women should be considered as key decision makers. As Gen Z, we started a movement in this country. We wanted change, and the movement is still on. By the way, Ruto must go. I have heard Bernard saying that the political class is organized by calling Raila Odinga to negotiate for us or to dialogue for us. We are leaderless, tribalist, and we don't want negotiations. Our grievances are clear, so they must be addressed, or Ruto to go home with the whole political class. Yes, and lastly, Philip, I texted you in your DM. I really wanted help. MOH doesn't consist of doctors only. MOH consists of clinicians, public health officers, nutritionists, social workers. And in hospitals, in Kenyan hospitals, we don't have enough workers. For example, I worked in a hospital in Mukuru where every nurse wanted to leave this country. Every nurse is looking for a passport. Every nurse is processing to go work abroad. Doctors, the same. They really don't want to work in our country. Why? They're not paid well. They're not put first in the society. And in Kenya, health is a big problem to the society. Personally, I am a nutritionist. Nutritionists are not employed in Kenya. We have the highest number of unemployed graduates as nutritionists. Our society, our organizing body has two bodies to do what? To regulate nutritionists, but yet they don't do anything. So please, let's remain focused, and Ruto must go.
Thank you. Parting shot is Ruto must go. I really agree with you. I don't have any grudge against the president, but I think he has to listen to the voices of the people of Kenya, especially the young generation that has shown that it can take this country to the the next level of leadership in this country. If he doesn't listen to these people, then it's himself to blame. Thank you, Alice. Thank you very much. Now let's have, I think, Solomon. Solomon, whom do we give them? I can see Nick. Nick has been raising his hand.
No,
Nick.
we are actually trying to give ladies the chance to speak.
Hi, Etale. Can you hear me?
Yes, Solomon. I think we have Nick on the floor. Nick.
Yeah.
Okay, let him go on. Okay.
Okay. Just Eli is my name. I'm a psycho operative. I can say I've done a lot of social media messaging and narratives. What I can say about the lifestyle audit is a decoy. We are really losing the focus. When the Gen Z started the protest, the main issue was reject the finance bill. And why everyone was calling for rejecting the finance bill, it was cause of taxation. There was a lot of additional taxes were coming on board, yeah? So the key item that we should be able to focus on is on this taxation. What should the government do on this taxation for Gen Z to be satisfied? Because at the moment, a little bit cash in circulation is a little bit low. So everyone is complaining that maisha imekuwa ngumu, things are not moving. Why? Because of taxation. When housing levy was introduced, it took money from the pockets of Kenyans. When another additional tax introduced, it takes money away from their pockets. When something else introduced, it takes money. So the key issue here is the country is not doing better because of taxation. And the moment we focus now on what Murkomen will wear, yes, Murkomen will get fired, but will these taxes be removed? No, they'll still be there. Even if tomorrow they start wearing shorts, they start wearing slippers, the taxes are still there. Even if they start walking like us, the taxes are still there. So we should be able to focus on the main items that make the system and which are daily activities that they are involved in, like a normal Kenyan. When it comes to education, A normal Kenyan is paying more because of CBC. What are we doing as Gen Z to make sure this cost of CBC comes down? Because that is what is taking more money from our pockets. We should focus on health, because we are using a lot of our money to pay private hospitals. What are we doing to make sure the government makes health affordable for all of us so that private hospitals are not taking our money? When it comes to jobs, what are we suggesting that will create jobs locally? Because I remember when we graduated university in 2010, we got jobs easily when Kibaki was in government. What are we doing to get those jobs? Because at the moment, the Gen Z don't have jobs, yeah? So everyone wants something. Is kazi mutani a solution? If it's kazi mutani, it should be brought back, yeah? If it's something else that people will be able to get something like even 500, 1,000 a day, it will be able to make things easy. But at the moment, the government is focusing on housing. They say that they're employing almost 1,000 or 1,600 people or something. I don't know the numbers, but are these jobs really giving us that money? Are they bringing that money to our pockets? Those are the questions that we should be asking. Another thing is on the dialogue that Raila suggested. Yes, for me personally, Gen Z have lost the narrative. You know, there's so many voices. Everyone have their own ideas. Ruto must go. Oh, occupy parliament. Oh, occupy state house. All those are ideas, yeah? But we need to bring all these things to the table. Yes, you have ideas. You have your voice. You want things to be done. How do you wish them to be done? Tomorrow, let's say Ruto fires all the cabinet ministers. He reshuffles, brings guys on board. Will you be happy? Personally, I'll not be happy because I'll still be buying the bread at the same price. I'll still be buying fuel at 200, but I want fuel to be at 150. I still be paying CBC. I don't want to pay CBC. I want to go back to 844. My young guys at home will not be getting a job. I want them to have money at their pocket. So as much as we are focusing on the decoys, we should focus on the things that a politician can come and go and leave us with them. So the current administration of Ruto is there. It can still go. But if the taxes are still there, we'll still be crying. So a little bit we have shifted on the wrong things, yeah? Etale, you are a friend to Raila. I'm seeing social media, the narratives has changed, yeah? You know, at the moment, what is happening is called a building of infighting, whereby social media, person A versus B, politician A versus B, like that, yeah? So the narrative at the moment is Raila is not doing something good, yeah? So toa statement bana, toa press statement diende nje bana multi-association na mambo ya dialogue, mwachane nayo. Kitu ya mwisho, kila mtu anasema Ruto must go. I want you guys to be very careful, yeah? Watu wale wako na maduka town wameibiwa mali. Assume you are in those shoes. Duka yako imeibiwa leo. Umepoteza mali ya like 1 million, yeah? Umepoteza kwa sababu gani? Kwa sababu ya insecurity, kwa sababu ya lawless. Hatukuwa na watu wanateke ya maduka ya watu. So hiyo ndio inaitwanga ana kindogo, a small of it. So you can imagine the same thing duplicated across the whole country. Paka mtu anakuja kwa nyumba yako anaweza chukua nguo yako kwa sababu hakuna rule of law, because you said Ruto must go. So let us be careful of some things that we push. Yes, Ruto is there, but there are things which are making the system. Ruto is there as a representative. There are things which are making the system. Tuko na judiciary. Are we talking about how the judiciary is dropping cases ovyo? Those are things that make our day. Are we talking how parliamentarians are not passing the right things? Those are the things we have control on. Tumesema budget ya mama, etc. So let us focus on the key things that if a politician leaves tomorrow office, tutabaki in a good way. Let us not focus on the politician, to focus on the system. What makes that politician kuiba tenda? Munasema mtu anaiba pesa kupeleka US, ameenda kuweka Swaziland. What aliiba aje? That is the question. Ukifunga hiyo loophole, mwingine hataiba. Lakini kama ameiba na tenda na wewe hujui hiyo tenda iliibwa aje, kesho mwingine pia akija ataiba. Thank you.
Bro, just a minute before you go, man. You know, it's a struggle, and we want we are really struggling for the good governance in Kenya. And you've said we should not go on the street. You, according to you, how do you want us to demand for a good governance without paying a small price, like going to the street or our shops being vandalized. You know, the youth have been very peaceful, and from the word go, we've stated that we are going to the street. We don't want to destroy someone's property. We don't want to kill someone. We are going to the street for the world to see that we're demanding for the good governance. What do you suggest as a person that we should do that is that can actually put pressure on the government to hear us as the youth of the Kenya?
I think the question was to Nick. Nick, that question was targeting you. I don't know. Do you have anything to say about that? 1 minute.
Please, I could not hear. Please repeat the question, please.
I'm saying because you are complaining of the okay. You are
Solomon,
yes. Can you hear me, please, Nick? Nick?
can you hear me?
Yes, I can get you clearly. Can you get me in return?
I cannot hear him.
Okay, there is miscommunication. No problem. You can.
Okay. I think we have very few minutes to wind up these spaces, and I would want everyone to speak. And if we could restrict ourselves to 1.5 minutes or 2, we'll be able to wind up within the time frame that we had set, so that we can have Gadogo, my co-host Gadogo, giving his parting shot, as well as Honorable Fenyose Goko from Botswana to give his parting shot, and then we wind up. So let's start with Vincent Opar, 2 minutes, then we go to Komwanza.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I think I will take the shortest time possible. What I would like us to do is shy away from blame games. The politicians are there to do their part, and I don't think there is anybody who is willing to drift this country into a mess or into chaos. We've been on the streets for far too long. Since I joined ODM when I was in campus, Etale is the person who received me in ODM. There is no any election period that we've never gone to the streets. Enough is enough. We've seen this circle repeat itself. They always want to steal from Raila Amolo Odinga. If they come back, they want to cover narrative. That is the only time they realize there's a report that is pending that they should implement. But when they have power, they want power, they will use each and every means possible to achieve it. And the people who are being used are us, the youth, are the young people. And we are the people who give these people audience, and we are the people who give them air and credit. Trust you me, there is no any Kenyan who is enjoying living abroad and working abroad as their country. There is nobody. There is nobody who wants to finish school in Kenya, then you go and now suffer in another country because you're looking for means. People are only going there because of the opportunities. Etale, as we speak, the young people are angry with the government. If the government wants to consult Raila Amolo Odinga that they never saw importance from to lead this nation, let them consult him privately. And as the young people, the only thing that will save us from these people is coming out, mobilizing enough, and speaking. You see, I'm 100% aware or sure that all these political parties, they will not chase away the young people if we make our voice understood or meaningful in the table. But the reason why they can't listen to us most of the time is we betray ourselves. There are people who go behind our backs. They just want to go and receive some petty cash. They just want to live a good lifestyle like the politicians are doing, but they don't want to work hard for it. Let us encourage ourselves. Do whatever business you're doing, do whatever work we're doing, but go and talk to your fellow peers, your generation, the generation that is behind us, and anybody who is going to vote from now. We should be targeting anybody from 3 onwards, because those people are going to vote. if we target and mobilize very well with the Gen Z, with the momentum this thing is already picking, you will elect a leader, not necessarily anybody you're seeing in the political quagmire as at the moment, but the country can speak and send a message even to the West that we as the people of Kenya or the young children of Kenya can make a decision of our own. That is the only plea I'm having to our own peers, that let us stop the madness in social media, you becoming mad with each other. You see, that one is diverting attention. Let's keep the momentum that the Gen Z have already started. If we can speak in one voice and also tell our parents that we really need this thing for our future and the future of our children, we will achieve it. By the kusema Ruto must go now will not help. He will not go. But in 2027, if we mobilize very well, where we know very well that whichever IBC they set, we can have our Gen Zs and our phones on the polling station. We can mobilize money. We raised money to help those people who are affected at Mandamano. We can raise money to have our own server. We can raise money to support a presidential candidate who is neutral and who will deliver. The vote, the process is in the vote. You know, the reason why the Raila's vote was manipulated a little towards Ruto, it's because he had people behind him. We gave him the momentum and we gave him the votes behind him. So he only needed a little to be twisted in his direction. We can also give somebody else this thing without having the tribal cards playing on it, because the future is for the young. These old people, their time is gone. They're only looking for wealth and they want to sustain that wealth. Kindly, Mr. Etale,
Thank,
tell Baba to
thank you
land.
very much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Vincent. Mute your microphone,
Thank you.
please. Thank you for your contribution. And I can see my good friend Kingwa Kamenchu. And since we had agreed that Komwanza will speak, let Komwanza have his 2 minutes, then Kingwa, you'll join in after Komwanza. Please, Komwanza.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Philip, and the entire panel of speakers and all the listeners. Mine are a few things. I first want to start here. There is the question, lifestyle audit, is it for real or just hot air? I'd want to first respond to that before I make a brief submissions on what's going on in the country at the moment. Now, I think the question that we are struggling with right now, if I may break it down, is how do we hold our leaders accountable? Their lifestyles are just manifestations of perhaps the looting and everything. But the root issue, the root question that cuts across is how do we ensure that whoever we elect to a public office, or whoever is a state officer, or whoever that is, in the public space, who holds any position in trust for the public, how do we make sure that they do not steal from us? That how do we ensure that we detect when they do? How do we hold them accountable? Now, a lifestyle audit, a regular lifestyle audit, is just one of the ways that we can hold them accountable. And I wouldn't want us to flush the baby down with the bathwater by refusing it, because it does not cover everything. There are other avenues, and this is just part of the conversation. We can come up with other strategies of holding all leaders accountable. For now, we can make it as part of our objective to push for regular and structured lifestyle audits of every public and state officer, so that even when they steal, it becomes uncomfortable for them to get to enjoy their loot. Now, with that said, I've been reading this gentleman called Eric Hoffer. He has written the book The True Believer: How Mass Movements Start and How They End. I saw that today His Excellency Raila Odinga had a meeting with the powers that be, and they seem to be speaking the same language. Eric Hoffer said that a mass movement is pioneered by men of words. It's materialized by fanatics, the people who die on the streets and everything. But it's consolidated by a bold man of action, a man who knows the streets. For a very long time, we have been invited to engage in a constructive conversation with the powers that be, with the president and whoever. But I think we were too I can't say blinded. At the movement, we kept saying we are leaderless, partyless, tribeless, and we didn't want to engage in any constructive dialogue. Right now, that bold man of action has come and has taken over the reins of the conversation. I do not know where we will start as Gen Z, because even when a very critical question was posed, rather a very critical invitation was made to us the other day when they set up the task force to audit our public debt. I saw some professional bodies declined that invitation and they deemed it unconstitutional, not knowing that this is an extra constitutional moment and extra constitutional solutions are being sought to the problem that we have. Because there's been this wanton borrowing over very many years. When Moi left power and handed over to Kibaki, our revenue collection just needed to be around 170 billion. By the time Kibaki is exiting, it was 1 trillion. By the time Kenyatta is handing over to Ruto, we are talking of 2 trillion and beyond. The demand for more taxes, the demand for more revenue keeps piling up. And this is because of wanton looting. The money comes, but people decide to dissipate it amongst themselves. We don't see where it goes. A debt audit done by an independent body. Yes, of course, the Auditor General does the forensic audit, but internally. But now we need to look at how these debts were incurred. Whether, because now it goes beyond the Auditor General, there are contractual, geopolitical, international law contexts that need to, the law side of Kenya, the Institute of Engineers, the ISPAC needed to bring that because it was sort of malsectoral. So we can also, even as we engage in this conversation, let's not be blinded. Let's take our gains and cut our losses. If there is an invitation to engage in a constructive conversation, let's take it up and we'll see the results of our movement very soon. Thank you so much, and may you all be blessed.
All right, Kingo, you are next. Unmute your mic. Hello, Kingo. Are you speaking already? Can anyone hear Kingo? If you can hear her, raise your hand. Nobody. Jack Macalda, that was you?
Good afternoon, guys. I'm very much happy to join this space today because of what I've just seen some few moments ago. One thing I would like to encourage fellow Kenyans that pursuing dialogue is the best option for us to live as a country in one nation, one country. If we fail to do this, we will end up like countries like Haiti, Sudan, or Somali. That is not good. So I would advise even the Genz and the other fellows. We are all concerned concerning what has been happening in our country. Life is not too good the way we expect it to be. Let to support dialogue, which is Mr. Dinga suggested. If there is where we will float what is disturbing us, what has been the bigger problem to the entire country. Well, when it's come to lifestyle audit, it is a big question. By the way, to me, it is just a scam. One thing I believe in, these looters and politicians, they are so clever. They will even use other people's names to register company to buy houses within the country or abroad. So finding them is not easy. If we can change it to be neighbors' lifestyle audit, maybe we can see where this fellow who is living next to you, whom you know, is generating the resource. Apart from that, there is another thing called the CDF. I don't believe it is only the MPs or the MCA who can distribute this fund very well. And mark you, most of these politicians, they live in cities in Nairobi. Reaching the politician Some don't even know. Some has never seen their MP. And these people are running all over the country with these millions. What of if people can demand? Because I recall during President Uhuru and Raila Odinga time, they tried that this politician relinquished the CDF. They ganged up and they succeeded. The same way President Ruto tried it. They again ganged up and they succeeded. What of if we can demand the CDF fund be channeled directly to the chief, assistant chief, or even village elder? Because these are people, even if you reach back in the village at night, you can easily access them. You can reach them even during night time. If this thing can happen, it can transform the politics of Kenya. Because what these our politicians are after is not to legislate the way we expect them. They are going there to get this CDF to come back in the village to buy goons. This is where our problems are. I beg our Genz to include this story of the CDF as one of the demand. I learned that, please.
All right. I'm trying to connect the next person to speak. Mugambi, if you can hear me. As my host is preparing himself. Celestine, are you ready to speak? You can unmute your mic.
Yes, thank you for giving me an opportunity. Good evening, everyone. I would want to first start what most of the speakers are talking about. There is a diversity of views on whether what the Genz are doing, okay, or the ways that okay. Now, I've had so many things that think, and I'm a believer of you know, you should not change what you are. These guys came together with us. They had very clear views what they needed. This information is from government. I do not believe that government, any committee, any other forum, like a lot of people have done, but yeah, I don't know that anything that the government try to form right now would be for the best. I mean, for the interest of the just buy time. At the end of the day, this drive have accountability of things to fix the country. Just appear. So I totally support voting, but I think one severally kind of a way they can be part of it. And I think the moment is now you asked whether this lifestyle audit is something real or not. My opinion is just the forums that are being created these talks. It is just one of you cannot read you cannot travel. You cannot use the old map. Um, you cannot use the old map go somewhere. So it means that if you want solutions,
Celestine,
Celestine, I think you have an issue with your speaker. Oh, yeah. Okay, Philip. Yep.
so
just
you
go
can
on,
hear
Dilaogue.
you can hear me.
Yes, now we can hear you. Yeah, but be brief, please. 2 minutes.
Yeah, what what I'm trying to say is that you cannot use our old map to go anywhere today. So I think what the problems we have today cannot be solved by the old processes that we've been using of having commissions of inquiry, blah, 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 blah. We need action, and the government knows what is expected of them. So I think if over a short period of time we can see, real action happening, because the things that, like when the president says that all the people over 60 years old need to retire and this has to happen immediately, it's important to wait and see whether this is going to happen. That is important. Um, the removal of unconstitutional offices, we wait and see whether it's going to happen. So I think the push to have leaders for the agencies is not important at the moment. We need to just keep pushing so that the government does what they're supposed to do. First, do what they have committed to do in the next few days or few months. So I think I'll stop at there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Solomon. Celestine, thank you for your input. I can see Maura. Maura has been lifting his hand. Maura Robert, Bob.
Okay, thank you. You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, asante sana bwana Etale. I'm Maura Robert. I'm an entrepreneur based in Switzerland, and I'm from Kenya, Gatodo, actually. And let me start by saying this. I'm going to speak for those 2 or 3 minutes from a standpoint as an entrepreneur. What makes me successful? Because in a country or in anything you do, you need success. Now, what the problem we are having in Kenya is that we have never ever been able to put structures and systems that will make our countries work, and that is a key thing in making anything work in this world. If I have the proper system and structure in place, I don't care where in any country where I invest, whether it's in Angola, in Zambia, Mozambique, South Africa, Djibouti, or even Ukraine. If I have the proper systems and structures, I'll still generate the kind of revenue that I need. And that is exactly what we as a country, Kenya, we have never been able to do since we got the independence. Tangu mkoloni mweupe aondoke Kenya na mkoloni mweusi achukue madaraka Kenya. We have never been able to do that. We have never we put psychopaths, we put tribal elites, tribal kings, tribal gods in power, and that's why Kenya finds itself to where it is today. So, what do I mean by this thing? Somebody trying to come here and say that we have to do something like a lifestyle audit. For heaven's sake, what has lifestyle audit got to do with having cabinet ministers who cannot perform? People like Nakumicha, people like Moses Kuria, people like Linturi. You see, people like Idiki who cannot explain how people were killed. What has lifestyle got to do with that? After all, we have had a commission in this country that did very serious work. And they present their report to the president, and up to date it has never been implemented. TRJ report is one of them that could have actually healed our country. It has not been reported. Dongo report 2006 around when it was formed, and up to today I still support Raila Odinga. But what he has said about lifestyle, mimi sikubalia na hata kidogo. The problem is not about lifestyle. It is going to be done by Kenyans. We know what kind of people Kenyans are, and even if we know the lifestyle or somebody has, the report they are going to give us, what are we going to do with it? We know the problem in Kenya that we don't have in place systems and structures that are working. We don't have a judiciary that is working properly. Tuliona Chief Justice Saigina akiitwa na Ruto anaenda, which is something I shouldn't do. We can see Ruto, he don't have a cabinet that is working. That's another problem. We can see parliamentarians being bought. We voted for them, so the MP has to listen to us. If we said no to the finance bill, we as Wananchi, they should have voted no, but they listened to the president, which is unconstitutional because the parliament is supposed to be independent. So we have institutions that are not working, systems that are not working. And that's the problem we're having in Kenya. So until we put that, tutakuja na lifestyle audit, tutakuja na nini, and there's nothing that is going to change. So let's prepare and have people, let's have systems, and work in Kenya. We have people of integrity and character to occupy the high office. If we have such people, then actually everything else is going to go in place. Like hii ya kujidanganya. Sasa, honestly, did they take for people to die? That 9 people to die for not to say no to the finance bill? Or what it could have taken was for our MPs. My Gatodo MP could have come to me and asked me, in the village, could have come to the village and asked people in the village, what do you want me to do with this bill? And everybody in Kenya had said no. Or what they could have done was very simple thing: go in parliament and vote no. That's a system that is working, but we don't have such a system. We have people who are being controlled from state house. They have become robots. You see, so we don't have systems that are working. So where we have lifestyle audit, the audit, watch, audit women, audit men, audit is neither here, it's not there. It's taking this country of ours nowhere. So let's prepare for 2027, because for those who are saying Ruto must go, people don't know that this Ruto is part and parcel of the problem that Kenya is facing. Ruto, he has been who he is today. He has made so by the dynasty. He was made so by Moi. You remember why Kenya too, where they printed the billions. He came this way, they joined with the ICC, with the Kenyatta. The Kenyatta family took him from there. So for him to tell us that he has right, it's neither here nor there. So he's a part and parcel of the problem that Kenya is facing. And I don't expect Ruto to solve anything in Kenya until we have a cleanup of the ruling elite and the institutions that are going to work. Look at what happened to the DPP. When Ruto came to power, what happened? All his friends were facing multi-billion cases in court. He ordered them dropped. Case in court is the man from my area, my aunt in Mora. He had a corruption case waiting in court. And when he was dropped, he was made the chairman of Kenya Revenue Authority. How do you take somebody receiving corruption case to be a head of the body that collects our revenue on behalf of us Kenyans? So this is a problem. You don't have systems that are working. Fellow Kenyans, let's put systems that are working. And we people who are outside Kenya, as entrepreneurs, we would like to come back there instead of not telling our children that they are going to. Me, I'm Generation X. I'm not generation. I'm not a millennial or Jay-Z. I'm X. So we people who are outside, we'd like to come back to home and create employment for our people, not to tell that children so that they get to be brought back in coffin, to be cleaners, to be working. But did the 2024 deal tell me one initiative that they can give somebody who is an entrepreneur to come back to Kenya? Punitive tax, high cost of power, corruption, and everything. Can he improve that? That's what is ailing this our country. We don't systems that are working. Let's improve systems that are working. Let me that there, my friend, Etale for that. And please tell Honorable Raila, I've been his supporter, but today he has let me completely down. I never thought it would be direct with anything with Ruto and saying that referee. No. Baba, let him be Baba. We saw what Uhuru did to him. To report the state house because of him associating with Uhuru. Although maybe Ruto may never won, but that's the main reason why even people say no to Raila Odinga. Because all the burden that Uhuru and Ruto were doing were shifted to Odinga. So that's why most people never voted for him. That will never be put in Ruto's pocket. Mwambie awe baba yule tunamjua. Mr. Etale unajua naye. Ukienda kwake mwambie baba, be the fighter we know. Since 1991, when we are fighting for multiple for section 2A. Kuwa huyo baba tunajua. Sio mtu tu akujukua hivi. Asante.
Thank you, Maura. Thank you, Robert. Asante sana. And I've heard you very clearly. And I stepped out a little, and my co-host Gabogo knows I'd gone to respond to another phone call from Baba. And Mr. Maura, I can assure you, without batting my eye, Baba ain't going to be bought by anyone. He knows exactly what he's doing. He has told me emphatically that he almost lost his life last year during Mandamano. Were it not that his vehicle was bulletproof, we wouldn't be having him today. I was witness to that. I saw it. And I can assure you, whatever he was fighting for, that we should have an IEBC that is above board, an IBC where commissioners are not going to work for politicians but for the people of Kenya, an IBC that will have a secretariat that is above board, a secretariat that is incompromisable, is what he went to witness today. That if this bill, the IBC bill, has anything contrary to what was agreed upon at the Bomas talks, then he wouldn't have been part of it. But he has certified, and he is also satisfied that the bill is okay, and that you're going to have a selection panel with 9 members, not 7 like in the past. And that was the recommendation by the Azimio team. And then this selection panel will have stakeholders, people from different sectors of economy. Will have people, members who will be selected by political parties, religious organizations. We'll have members who will be selected by the Law Society of Kenya and other stakeholders, so that you can have commissioners that will be above the board and who will steer this country to greater heights. Never shall we again have elections being stolen. Never shall we again have commissioners being paid to announce someone. That is what he wants. It must not be him to be the president of Kenya, but what he wants is that next elections will be held and conducted by men and women of integrity, not the Chebukatis of this world. He is not going to be bought by anyone. He doesn't have a prize. He doesn't have a prize. Next speaker, let's have Spencer 254, then you go to Trust No One.
Good evening, guys. I hope I'm audible. Hello, I'm audible.
Yes, Spencer, we can hear
Yes,
you.
you are.
Sasa mi nitaongea in Kiswahili just to emphasize on hiyo story ya lifestyle audit. Mi naona hapo tunadanganywa tu. Juu wakisema hiyo lifestyle audit, nani atawa audit? Aya, how many cases have we had za graft zenye zimepelekwa na hazija kuwa complete? Like kama kuna hiyo scandal ya NYS, people are working freely. Hatujasikia mtu amekuwa amejajiwa ama amerudisha hizo funds. Tunasikia scandals, no fund is coming back, kuna kitu ina happen, watu wanaenda hivyo, story inaisha, another week another thing, another week another thing. Hao watu, mimi naona system was laid vibaya. We need to scrap everything. System was laid vibaya since day one. So what Baba did, me, I've been Baba fan since day one, but I hope he's not going to do again ile kitu alifanya the last regime. Juu mi naona ni kama wamemvuta hivyo juu history ya AU ndio ikuwe huyu jamaa akwe raisi hii 2027, but this time round people have woken up, tumesema no, and we need to stand our stand. Kama ni mbaya isemekane ni mbaya, na wale watu wanapatikana na graft, they need to follow hiyo nini yote, paka kama ni hiyo nini, kama mtu aliiba billions, imagine one person, mtu anaiba 5 billion peke yake, juu ako na uwezo wa kuuza kwenda kucorrupt hao judges, akitoka hapo ako free walking with our money. Si tunaumia, pesa ifiki chini, fanyi biashara wadogo wanafunga biashara, watu wanaumia. Me, I'm from Lugari. Nilikuwa na MP alikuwa anaitwa Jirongo. That guy never did anything. Never. Nani alikuwa biggest MP nakumbuka. Akiongea unaweza dhani this man ni ule mtu mwenyewe kabisa. But never did anything. Hadi kwake ni stima ilikuja juzi. Due to the MP mwenye aliingia after kumsaidia. So me, I feel so ashamed na our political leaders wetu. We need to wake up. New generation imekuja venye imekuja, new wave. Hawa watu wote wazee, they go. Mbona mtu ako over 60 years na bado ako pale kwa nini? Si wanasema nini ya serikali ni 60 years una retire. They go. Wachie vijana. Thank you, niyo tu.
Okay, thank you, my brother. I think you are from Lugari, Spencer. You have spoken about Jirongo. Thank you. Trust no one. Trust no one. 2 minutes, please. Just be as brief as like Spencer has been. Trust no one.
Hello, guys.
Yes, go ahead, bro.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you for the opportunity, and I would like really to address the lifestyle audit, which is the main theme here. The issue is not auditing these people, because we even have the Auditor General right now. We get crooked reports about these people. Nothing happens about it. In fact, they root for it because they know we are going to take them nowhere. Our problem as a nation is not about auditing. Our problem as a nation is politicians. Every politician is the problem of this country because they are using their platform as a source of get rich quick schemes to enrich themselves at the expense of the common mwananchi. This struggle is not just about fighting someone. This is no longer about fighting someone. This is about the nation. This is about the affairs of the nation, where we are being taken as a country. Philip, I know and I know and I respect that you are a Baba's handler, but I would like you to you and the whole team to understand that this is no longer about Baba. We really respect his fight that he has done for this country to this stage, but we no longer need him in our struggle. As the struggle was beginning, it was very clear and was told, tafadhali Baba, hata usitokee. Sasa ameamua kutokea, that at the expense of what we don't even need, calling a dialogue with our enemy, because that is the enemy that has climbed through the ladder of impunity, of ukabila and of corruption until amekuwa president, facilitated by our parents, facilitated by the crooked system. That is what we are fighting against today. Auditing these people will not help us, and we need change in Kenya. In whatever way we are going to get it, we have to have change in Kenya. We have to have people who respect people's money, the citizens' money, and know that this money, hata kama tunaiba, let us steal 5%, let 95% work for the citizen. Si unakuja kuiba almost the whole thing. I'm seeing the Auditor General's report. Every MP, hata wale that they pretend to be for the people. Mtu amesema project ilikuwa ya 20 million, project hata ikiangaliwa hata ikufanyika. These people are just literally thieves, just stealing from the mwananchi, promoting no work and doing nothing for the citizen. So as the Gen Zs of this country, we are just telling Baba, kaa kando, we do not need you right now. Thank you for teaching us the way. Thank you for teaching us that we can fight for our rights, and we are here to preserve our constitution. Hatutaki tena watu waingie na wewe sijui wanakupelekanga wapi na hapo wanakuconfuse unanyamaza. No, we are not trusting you with this one. This one is ours. Tuachie. We must reform this country once and for all. We know we will pay the price. Sorry to and my condolences to our comrades who have already died. Even if the struggle takes more, God forbid, but even if it takes more, if that is the price that we have to pay to liberate this country from the hands of the goons who have been trusted by our parents time and again, we will pay that price. It is time for revolution. It is not time for dialogue. Thank you very much, Philip.
Wow. Wow. Thank you, my brother. I wish I could know your name, but thank you for the name that you're going with. Trust no one. I like that. Thank you for the message, and we really appreciate. Let's go to the next speaker. And please, let's be as brief as the Genz Nation. Trust no one, eh? Yeah. I think it should be Collins. Collins Biko, 2 minutes.
Hello.
Yes, go on.
Yes, good afternoon, people. So mine will just be brief. When we started this movement, our agenda was very clear. reject the finance bill, and the finance bill was rejected. But something else also you have to know that the people we are fighting against are politicians, and politicians are very, very clever people. Let me tell you one thing. You know, the guys who brought in the guns to start looting were the politicians. I remember when we started here in Eldoret, it was very peaceful. Even the people who were looting and pickpocketing, we were the ones arresting them and presenting them to the police. But again, it reached a point where it was out of our hands. Why? Because the politicians took the stage and and they overplayed us. Now, the thing, again, they are going to use to outsmart us is this analogy of saying that we are leaderless. There is no movement that will succeed without having a leader. And they are going to use that thing until they make sure that we are going to is played by these people who have experience and people who are smart. I will urge you at one point, we must have somebody to represent us. Without that one, my friends, I'm telling you that this game is going just to end at our doorstep. Secondly, these are leaders that are. Hello?
Yes, go
My
on, go on,
audible?
go on. Go on. Endelea. Biko? Biko, you are on. You have the microphone.
Yes?
Yes, go ahead. And wind up, please.
Okay, somebody is saying that Baba is going to talk on our behalf and is should not. At least that guy has remained quiet. And us as youths, we've not presented anyone who is going to take our cries to Ruto. That's why maybe they say I sat down and maybe saw it best to go and represent us. If we doesn't want Baba to go and represent us, then let's have one of our own to come forward and go and meet this guy. Because there is no way we will be going to the streets every time without having somebody to go to Ruto and talk to him. The most demonstrations that I've seen around, people will come to the streets, demonstrate, but at the end of the day, they will have somebody, one person who will be given the mic to air out the views. But if we all shout, then that one will be noise. Thank you.
Asante sana, ndugu yangu Collins Biko. I think we have we are about to wind up these spaces. We have done our 3 hours, and I think maybe if I could just give.
Thank you.
Sorry. Yeah, let's have Hemstone 1 minute. Then we have just Japheth suppliers another 1 minute as you wind up. Then Bon I will also have 1 minute. Please stick to 1 minute. Let's start with Hemstone. And John Omugimbe will also speak for 1 minute. Let's start with Hemstone.
Okay, thank you very much, Philip. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to also, air out my views. Okay, so personally, I believe as the young people, the issues that are being raised by the young people are genuine. However, right now, this movement of the young people has been sabotaged by people who want to ruin this nation and bring this nation down. It is our responsibility. Now, for example, Philip, what Baba did today, personally, I'm a young person. I'm among the Gen Zs, I'm among the millennials. That is where my age group falls in. But if you look at the history of countries that have actually, had uprisal of movements that are leaderless, movement without structures, where are these countries right now? And as a young person, I'm worried that if we let this go on, for example, Solomon said that what are the structures or what are the avenues that we need to use to demand for our rights? I also like to respond to him that there are structures enshrined in the Constitution. We can, now that the IBC has been constituted, we can start by recalling the MPs. There are genuine structures that will not lead this country to anarchy. So Philip, I know you're a close person to Baba. Please, I support the move that Baba made to ensure that these countries united. And if there's any dialogue that needs to be done, let us do it in the right way. Instead of running down in the street each and every day and burning people's property, creating chaos, that will not lead this country forward. It will only take us backward and backward and backward. So anything to actually make this country progress, I believe we need to actually guide our young people that we understand, we understand the challenges. They're so annoying. They might lead people to actually do things that they are not supposed to do. But now it is our sole responsibility. Like Philip, I know you have kids, and most of the listeners in this avenue right now, let us lead our young people the right way. Let us not guide them to violence and anarchy that will lead us 30 or 40 years behind. Thank you, Philip.
Asante sana, Hemstone. Let's go to Japheth.
Thank you very much, Philip. I remember one day when I came to look for my ticket, we met you in the office of ODM. Anyway, I have two things to pass across. As now the Orange Democratic leader, President Raila Odinga, is calling about the lifetime audit. You see, in the year 2020, he was calling about the lifetime audit of the DP president by then, who is the current President Ruto. Then in July also, if you get the statistics right, in July 3rd, he also called of the life audit of the DP current president, and his mate was Uhuru Kenyatta. So you'll find that we'll be coiling around the same issue in the same manner, but not achieving anything that we want. Now, we as Gen Z, what we want, we don't want just leadership. We actually have the leadership with the Constitution of Kenya. If the president can just follow the Constitution of Kenya, which we achieved it in 2010, by the help of Raila Amolo Odinga, who is the current, you see, whoever's executing the Constitution is the person who was also opposing the Constitution. So to me, he cannot get it right, no matter what, because he opposed it before. So to find it, let him just follow what the Constitution does, what it says to the word, and let him get competent people to advise him about the Constitution. Then he'll be well and right up to the home to govern the country as it's needed. But when we call about the life audit, there's nothing we are achieving. These politicians, they are corrupt to the root. They are stealing our money, and they are using also the MPs to steal our money. So we don't want that one. We don't want that one. You saw yesterday Murkomen on the show, he was bragging about his 90 million watch, 9 million watch, you see? So such things we don't want. The second point I want to talk about is about the IBC. The problem...
Please wind up.
I'm winding up as I finish. The problem is not about the IBC, but the problem is the integrity of the commission themselves. So we can have the best IBC, but if we have rooted people who have mind of corruption into the IBC itself, there's nothing we are going to achieve. People like Wafula Chebukati should not even exist anywhere in any manner. And lastly, we would like to say that as we speak now, Ruto is preparing for 2027. As we Gen Z, we are still struggling with Osama, who putting blame game here. And that's why you see Ruto is very keen, even sending his own daughter to go and study about the defense. So he's trying to get the information about this, and this is putting people in every department. So we need to have people with integrity. Thank you.
Asante sana, my brother Japheth. We had lined up who? Joseph, and then we finish with John. Joseph? Bon was also there. Yeah, it's Bon. So Joseph and Bon.
Hello, everyone. Is everyone getting me?
Yeah, please go.
Yeah, you're okay.
Okay, I would want to make it brief. I wouldn't like to repeat myself because many points have been said about this. But personally, in my opinion, getting the lifestyle audit of politicians done is not a right move, because we've seen it in our judicial system. We can't get justice. Justice is being bought by people who have ability, people who are in power, and people who can access money too. And that one, for a normal Kenyan citizen, I don't think that you can't get justice against politicians. You can even look at the jail system in Kenya. There is no politician who has ever been jailed for doing any mistake. They almost get away with most of it. So I don't think lifestyle audit would really put them on a right scale to see how they are performing or how they're handling whatever we entrusted them as citizens. Also, let's talk about opulence. I have just a few points lined up. It's very wrong for someone who is leading citizens to display such opulence that we can see in the UDA government. Like, for example, Kipchumba Murkomen. Okay, there's no need to brag about how you can afford very expensive jewelries or clothes or even shoes to people who are struggling by over-taxation in the same government that you're serving. That is a very wrong thing and should be eliminated. I think that's one of the agendas of the Gen Zs, as the mission was to say no to the finance bill that was overtaxing citizens. I think that one should also apply. We should just try to deal with it. I think the demonstration way is just a way of speaking out the voice of the normal mwananchi. In as much as we say we are leaderless, the government got the message. And then also about corrupt leaders, corruption. Corruption is a root that has been there for so long. And I think with this Gen Z, we can decide, okay, let's shout out to every leader who is not performing well to just step down. I think that one can really help in our fight towards justice. Then also, I think this tax base that our president is really putting forward, I think is overdoing. In as much as we need to pay tax as Kenyans, there are some things that we don't need to overtax. Looking at the previous regime of Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta, there are things that you're buying at double the price right now. And that's what is putting a lot of rage in most Kenyans. And I think they're just trying to express what they're feeling, that they're being oppressed by the government. And that's the reason.
Please wind up.
There's
Wind up, Joseph.
these demonstrations all over going on and on and on because of the fake promises that we are given by the government that cannot even deliver and is continuing to overtax its citizens. I think that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Asante sana. Now let's have Bon, then we finish with John.
Thank you, Mr. Philip, for giving us this chance to air our views. First and foremost, I would like to say that this issue about lifestyle, this is just hot air. There's nothing that can come out of this. These people are not genuine. These people are not sincere. The political class has really failed us a big time. On to my second point about the dialogue thing. I've been an ardent follower of His Excellency the Prime Minister Raila Odinga since 1992, when he was able to show us the way. He went to Kanu, took everything that Moi had, all the weapons that Moi had, and he showed us that we can withdraw Moi, and he really showed Moi the way out. We brought in a very good leaders in the 2002, the Rainbow National Coalition. It was a government that really showed Kenyans that we can emancipate ourselves from that mental slavery. And also economically, we can try to put our country into the world map of those developed countries. But now Raila Odinga
he has done one very bad mistake whereby he has my following, he has the following of other people. Raila Odinga did not come to the public barazas because we are his followers. He could have asked us before going to shake hands with Ruto, who he told us very well that him and Ruto, it's like day and night, and really we see it's day and night. Ruto and Raila cannot be in the same platform. Even if Raila wants to be the leader or he wants to lead AU, if Raila, we know Raila is an elder, is a senior, he cares about the country most. That's why he went to shake hands, because the world maybe will look at it that how comes he wants to lead the AU and yet there is a lot of blood in his country and he cannot be part of the solution. We are okay. We can understand that. But when did Raila come to us? Raila could have even tried to hold some rallies while countrywide, asking his people about the views. About the IEBC, we thank Secretary General Mr. Sifuna, the Secretary General of ODM. He showed us the way and he told us, yes, for real, if the IBC is reconstituted, we can recall, and they gave out the names. I think there were 5 or 6 MPs that they want to start with. That is where we want to go. And for the dialogue could have stopped. The only dialogue we needed maybe for Raila and the government is about the IBC. Nothing more, nothing less. About reconstituting the IBC, then we move forward. We vet all these members of parliament, this political class. And Mr. Philip, if you can see the mood of the people, the mood of the country people, they don't want those sideshows no more. That's why they were trying to try and give a soft landing to the MPs who voted no to that bill, the draconian bill that they wanted to impose on the public. But again, they gave them the caution that these Gen Zs, they were tribeless, they were fearless, and they were leaderless. Meaning they could have come also to those opposition, because we know there are some people in the opposition also, there's some politicians in the opposition, those who have question marks on their past. So the only dialogue that could have happened between Raila and Ruto is about IBC, and he leaves all the other matters to the Gen Zs and to the people who want to see this country prosper. Then my advice to Raila, as I'm winding up, my advice to Raila is that he should have given us people like Orengo, Otiende, Omolo, those the good minds that are in Azimio or that are in ODM, to try and guide us on how we can topple, because now there is nothing that we want. We want Ruto to go, and we want Ruto to go with all his CAS, and everybody that is in office. We want a new Kenya at the moment. The mood is we want a new Kenya. So we need Raila to give us those good brains to lead us in this. Then for those people,
Wind up.
let me wind up now.
We are
I'm
running out.
on my last point. We know Sifuna is one of the brightest people in the opposition right now, who is the secretary of ODM, and we want them to lead us. These are leaders, the likes of Babu Wino, the likes of Otieno Kajwang. We want them to lead us. They need to sit down with Baba to explain to them how he reached to that point, and we want them to tell us that we have discussed with Raila. Raila should not dialogue with Mr. Ruto. And if that is the case, if Raila doesn't buy to the likes of Sifuna and the likes of Babu Wino, let Sifuna resign as Secretary General of ODM and come to the side of Gen Z. We want a new Kenya. Thank you very much, Mr. Philip. Give this advice to Raila Odinga. We don't want him to hold any hand in the name of handshake with Ruto. Ruto is a murderer, and Ruto must go. Let's resist this government. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bon. Thank you very much for your insights. I'll pass the message to the Honorable Raila Odinga, and I'm sure wherever he is, he's also listening. But as I assured you before, he doesn't have a prize. Next, John, 2 minutes, please. Thank you, Bon. John.
No, I wouldn't take 2 minutes. I'll just take 1 minute. Number one, I think the lifestyle audit is not going to happen anytime soon, because I think this has taken around 20 years. The first time I heard about this lifestyle audit was from Kibaki, and I'm very sure there is nobody who's going to take this bait, including the political class, because we know them. But this is not something that came from within them. It's like a forced thing. When you look at the CS Murkomen, who said the other day that he is ready for lifestyle audit, you wonder, are we really going to be serious with this lifestyle audit thing? I'm particularly saying this is not going to happen anytime soon. On what happened today, I think Philip, you're in the cocoons of the communication team in Raila Odinga's office. I'm somehow disappointed, but again, you've seen once they do something, maybe they have the reasons why they've done that. But one thing is about this dialogue thing. Dialogue, every time is dialogue. Every other year is dialogue. Raila has been in this dialogue for the last 7, 10 or so years. There is nothing good that has come out of them. The last time they had dialogue was the NATCO. And I think I read your tweet. You said it was one of the issues that was raised. And today the president cited it. I'm wondering, will they be having will they be having conferences in each of the recommendations about the NADCO report? If the NADCO report cannot be implemented, what about this one that are going to take 6 days? I mean, 1 week. I think it is time we learned that people have moved on. The time for calling shots from Guambo, he should just sit back, relax. He taught us something. We are students. We need to take this to maybe a better side. So when you report to him, just tell him all is not lost. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much for your contribution to this topic. Asante sana. Now let's finish with the student leader, Senator Bonnie. Is it Bonnie or who? Senator, you have 1 minute.
Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bota Yakuno, and I just want to contribute towards the motion as put forward. And I think for the longest time in the history of Kenya, we have had these stories of our lifestyle audit. But in terms of implementation, it's actually the hot hair, as we keep on saying. And I think the latest protests have actually opened an eye, not only in the eyes of the political elite, but also the general public. So lifestyle audit is quite important to the nation and to the public officers and the state officers, because we realize if you cannot be able to account on where you have gotten your wealth, then it means there's a problem in Kenya. Of course, corruption is rampant. It is actually in the core of our society. And the only thing we can do is, one, to fundamentally change the constitution so that we can have very harsh penalties for people who involve themselves in corruption. And then before you hold a public office also, you must be able to be audited. And then towards the exit of your term, you must also be audited. By doing so, people are going to be accountable for their own actions. And that's where the direction is going. Otherwise, because of the interest of time, I thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, Solomon, just have a minute. Okay, I think Solomon has napped off. Now, I can see a lot of requests, but let me say something, perhaps because you are coming to the evening of this show. It's been a very interesting one, very exciting spaces that I've ever hosted. And I really appreciate your contributions, your suggestions, your messages that you want me to deliver and all that stuff. But what I want to say is this, in life, we have to learn to understand things. There's this, I'm a Munyore from Bunyore. So there's this Bunyore saying that says, a bird doesn't sing because it has an answer. It sings because it has a song to be listened to. The Genzs went to the streets. They protested. Many were shot by the overzealous police sent on the streets in the name of providing security by the government, because police officers are answerable to the government. And the leader of this government is none other than President William Samoei Arap Ruto. The message was clear. We want this done. We want that done. Last year, protests marred most parts of the country, ostensibly called by the Honorable Raila Odinga after what happened in the 2022 general election. His election has been stolen, not once, not twice. He is a gentleman. He is a man who puts Kenya first. He always looks at the sons and daughters of the soil and says, if these people are to be killed because of me to be in power, then so be it. His vehicle was shot at by a police officer called Kemboi. Not once, not twice. There were several bullet holes. Thank God it was a bulletproof vehicle. One of the requirements, one of the issues Raila Odinga was pushing for was, can we have an IBC that will be above board? An IBC that will hold elections and that the winner will be announced and not the person that the IBC will have counted, will have decided that this is the president or this is the MP. Winners to win and losers to go home. Not an IBC where those who count the votes decide that this should be the leader. Fellow Kenyans, we are not what we know, but what we are willing to learn. We learn from many things. We went to school to learn. Learning is a continuous process, so continuous that even professors continue reading books so that they continue learning. And good people are good because they have come to wisdom through failure. We have learned failure, and we know Kenya deserves better. We cannot have, or rather, one of the issues that the Genzs were demanding of Ruto was sign the IBC bill as soon as possible. Sign it into law. He gave 10 days. NADCO report was a brainchild of Raila Odinga. Out of the street battles, running battles, shedding tears in the cloud of smoke. It was always smoke and dust. Painful it was. NADCO had deliberations at Bomas. There was grandstanding from Kenya Kwanza, the likes of Kimani Ichung'wah. They did not want what is contained in the present IBC bill that was signed today into law. Reason Raila went to KICC, Kalonzo went to KICC, was because they wanted to ensure the bill is indeed signed into law. Fellow Kenyans, you cannot recall your member of parliament today as you are demanding of those who voted yes to the draconian finance bill because there's no IBC to conduct an election should there be a vacancy in that constituency. I've heard some people say, let's have a snap election like the British. Britain had a snap election because they have their electoral body in place. We do not have a commission. The law says we must have a full commission for an election to be held. Let IBC be in place so that we can have a snap election if that is what you want. The by-elections that are pending, 2 constituencies, Magarini and Tajba in Mandera, and many wards cannot be held because there's no IBC. It was just important that they witness the signing of this bill so that we can fast-track the process of having, or rather bringing in place, a commission that will spearhead or steer or carry out the pending business. But again we say, the IBC, the commissioners that will be appointed, let them work for Kenya. Let them work for this country. Let them work in honor of the fallen brothers and sisters who were killed in last year's mandamanos, who were killed in this year's mandamanos by the Genzs. Let them put Kenya first and not money and their stomachs. Because the blood of those who are killed, who are brutally shot, will haunt them if they go against this. Thank you very much for your time, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an interesting and exciting Spaces on X. I've hosted you. My co-hosts, Gadhogo Bonfas, a very brilliant young man, Solomon Akoko, thank you very much, and all who participated. My friend, Honorable Fenyo Segoko from Botswana, he's going to vie for a Member of Parliament seat in August. The election will be held. He's been the mayor of his hometown. He's a councillor, but now he wants to graduate. He's a young man. We went to school together somewhere. My senior, Azu Ishekwena, the editor-in-chief of the Leadership newspaper in Nigeria. Thank you very much for your time, and all those who participated in these X Spaces. May God bless you. God bless Kenya. God bless Africa so that you can have a leadership that can listen to the people. God bless you all. Thank you very much.